So welcome to week 4 of my blog about me cycling up Mont Ventoux in France. Well, I heard this before, but 5,000 foot mountain in the south of France, continuous climb of 5,000 feet, and I'm doing it because I'm 60 on the 11th of June, so I'm not have long to go. We talked about a few things before, so just to go back to today, I'm going to talk about, again, things from my circle of control. So what can I control is in the middle, what I can't control is on the outer side, on the outer circle. We'll come back to this. Everesting. And we're going to talk about, well, what can't I control? Again, back to how likely it is I'll get to France, probably a little less likely, but let's not worry about that. So this time we're going to talk about the bike a bit, and a bit about COVID. So COVID, or me catching COVID, was between the two circles, a bit of partly outside my control, partly in. And this week I've had one of those. Can you see that? So I've had a COVID jab because I volunteer for the NHS. Fantastic. So question for me is, how do I make sure that I do what I should to stay fit? And I've been doing a bit of research. And the research tells me, so over here, this is a graph of how likely it is I am to catch COVID now I've had the jab. So this is I had the Oxford jab. So on this graph, this is the number of people who catch it. And this is the number of days into the program. So if somebody has the jab here, what the black line shows you is how, if you've not had a jab, how likely is it that you're going to get COVID over time. So after 180 days, then in the trial, this is all based on the trial down there. I think 50 people out of 7,000 caught it after 180 days, but only, I think it was 12 people caught it out of the 7,000 that had the vaccine. And the difference was after about 15 days. So for the next 15 days, I had the jab last Tuesday. So basically for the next 10 days, I'm no different to somebody who hasn't had it, hasn't had the jab. And then I get more and more cover. So the great news is, I've got 75% chance of being covered because the vaccine is 75% effective, roughly, I think. I'm no medic. And I've got a very, very low chance of now, almost zero chance of ending up in hospital if I can get over the next few days. So the next 10 days, I'm going to be massively, massively careful not to catch COVID. So that's good news. That's really my circle of control. That's a big reduction in the risk, 10 days to go, of me catching COVID. So let's just summarize again. So the things I could control in the middle were my health, my bottle, and my attitude, and my bike. Okay, we're going to talk about the bike. So I've actually got 3 bikes, and so I guess I'm a reasonable cyclist, but cheapest was 50 quid second hand, the dearest was 300 quid second hand. So I've got 450 pounds to bikes. So some have got thousands, that's more than a lot of people, that not a huge amount of money on bikes. And I've got 3 bikes. I've got a mountain bike, I've got a racing bike that I've just bought a couple of months ago, and I've got a hybrid bike. Okay, I'm just going to talk about the differences and how I'm sort of approaching it so far. So my mountain bike cost me 50 quid. And I've tried to highlight the differences between the bikes. So the first one is that a mountain bike, like a hybrid bike, has a straight handlebar. Racing bike, a drop handlebar. Largely for racing, largely for wind resistance, don't think that matters to me. The mountain bike's got a spring in its front suspension. The hybrid bike and the racing bike don't have. The spring costs you energy. So every time you pedal, if you're slightly putting on the spring, you're wasting energy going up and down. So I don't want that in the bike I use to go up Ventoux. It's got smaller wheels, so the mountain bike's got 26-inch wheels, whereas the hybrid and the racing bike have got 29-inch or 700cc, I think they're called. And bigger wheels, and bigger wheels run smoother. And the final difference is that the mountain bike and the hybrid bike have got a different gear setup to the racing bike. So these two have 3 cogs on the front and 7 on the back, whereas the racing bike has 2 on the front and 10 on the back. I'm quite worried about the gearing on the racing bike, if it's going to be low enough, because that's what on this one, the racing bike, is what I'm going to do Ventoux on. I might do I'll have to do a special one on gears in a few weeks' time. I've not been out on my racing bike yet because it's salty on the road. I don't want to spoil it, so I can't tell if the gearing is going to be right for me or not. Okay, so there's some differences, but the biggest difference is weight. So today I've weighed all these bikes for the first time, and here's what they weigh. So black's pounds, red's kilos. So the mountain bike is 34 pounds, the hybrid bike's 30 pounds, and the racing bike is 20 pounds. Okay. So that's a 14 pound difference. So 14 pounds, a massive, massive difference. In kilos, it's 15 kilos, 14 kilos, and 9 kilos, so 6 kilos. So the racing bike is 6 kilos or 14 pounds lighter. So clearly I want to do it on this bike. And if you just visualize that, I've got some breakfast. So it's the same as carting this slot, 2 kilos, 3.5 kilos, and 1.5 kilo. The same as carting that up the hill. Now, you might think that's not too heavy, but effectively it's 5,000 feet. So if that's a foot, I have to lift that 5,000 times if I go on my mountain bike. So I don't want to do that because I'm getting tired already. I definitely want to go on the racing bike. So in weeks to come, I'll have to work out just how I sort of finalise that. So that's it. I did 2 bike rides this week. So again, not ideal. That's really driven by what I've got on at work and other things. But not too bad. I did one that was 2,000 foot climb. I did they both had reasonable climbs. Back to my Everesting, just finish on that. So Everesting, if you remember, climbing Mount Everest, 29,000 feet, by doing the same route multiple times. I found a route that's a 1,700 foot climb. Did it twice in the first week, twice in the second week, and I did it once this week. I did quite a long climb, but I'm not counting it. But the good news is I'm still 8,500 towards my 29,000 target. So really, next week, with a bit of luck, I should be a third of the way up Everest and on track. On track. Can I get to France? Who knows? That's a different. That's a different thing. And we'll leave it there. Thanks. If you want to subscribe to my channel, please do.